Hello everyone and welcome to my one-armed bandit heroic raid guide. This boss is quite interesting. There's not a whole lot to it, even though it seems like there's a lot that could possibly happen. But essentially the whole gist of the fight is that you get 3 ads spawn. 2 of them need to be selected to be killed. They have marks above their head. When you kill these 2 ads, essentially what will happen is you'll spawn a mechanic. You can see they've got fire, coin, zap, and bomb above their head, and you need to kill 2. It'll do a certain thing. I'll go through that. Generally, you do this and you just roll through the mechanics until you get to a certain health percentage, and then he'll go into phase 2, where it's just to kill him before he kills you with a couple of mechanics. What I'll do is I'll go through the mechanics that are on the fight, so the stuff the boss does, the tank mechanic, and then I'll go through the combinations on the ads afterwards. Just so you can see, that there is a lot of choice to do. I don't think I'll show every single combination because I'm not sure we got them all in the PTR. But yeah, I'll go through the mechanics first, and then I'll go through this is what these ads make and this is how you can deal with them. Okay, so first things first, the big hit. You can see that the boss is casting it here. I'm sure you'll have a much better notification when this is live. Essentially, he hits you, it does a load of damage, the other tank taunts off, and it leaves an electrical field on the floor. So you don't want to put these on top of the ads, you want to put them around the room, and you need to be making sure that you're moving quick enough to put these around the room. It's worth mentioning that when you can spawn a coil later on, you can click the coil and it will remove the 2 nearest lightning fields. Okay, that's up to you whether you want to do that or not. Maybe you've got enough damage to not have space, get taken away from you, and you don't need to do that. But just an important thing to note in case you did want to do that. Okay, so next the boss is going to spawn some chips. You can just about see here there's a blue line, and that is going to be the direction of the chips. We move the boss so the chips stay from where they are, but you can see that they do still come out and start rolling. Okay, so these chips come out, don't get hit by them. There's a couple of mechanics on this, however, that you need to pay attention to. So if you stand right next to the chip, you'll get a buff, which is very nice. If you get hit by the chip, you'll get crushed, which means you get stunned for 8 seconds and take a load of damage. And for every chip that is up in the room, the boss increases its damage by 5%. So the chip will come out initially, and then what you need to do is go and find the chip on the edge of the room, click it, point it in a new direction, and you can get the buff again, obviously, if you stand next to it, but then it will destroy itself when it hits the wall again. Okay, so you can see that one there, just hit the wall again, destroyed itself, nice and easy. Okay, and just to hear the mechanic to keep an eye out here, when the boss does sort of like a purple thing from him, it's called foul exhaust. It puts a heal absorb on you, and you take damage while the absorb persists. So just make sure that that's healed off nice and quickly. Okay, so the ads themselves, they do some things before I go into how to deal with the mechanics that come from the ads. So you can see that he's going to do the spin to win. He's going to spawn these 3 ads here. One's got a bomb, one's got lightning, one's got coins. Okay, you need to make sure that you pick 2 of them. You have your raid leader picking 2 of them to kill. And then you focus on these 2. The third one you can kill afterwards. All right, these ads do a variety of things that you need to be careful of. So they do a cast called overload that you just need to make sure you interrupt. And then they put a debuff, a fire debuff on people. They just need to move out of the raid, get dispelled, and then fire flames come from outside of them. You can see them moving through the room there, and I go into it, and it knocks you back. Okay, so essentially with the ads, you pick 2 of them to kill, and you deal with their mechanics, and then you kill the third one afterwards, and then we can go through why you might pick different ones now. So on our first set of ads, we decide to kill the lightning one and the fire one. And what you need to do is it'll drop a little circle, and then you pick them up, and then you put them both into the boss, and then he'll do the mechanics. So you don't necessarily have to pick them up straight away. You just need to make sure that you do it before the fraud cast comes in. If he casts fraud, basically, before you kill the ads, he'll do 500% extra damage, and you'll just wipe. So you can see here, we've put them both in, and he has essentially spawned a superheated coil. Okay, what that does is it just puts fire into the room every so often. You can see, so a little bit of area denial, but not the worst to deal with. Okay, yeah, so moving on from that, you can see that the second set in this fight we've decided to kill is the coin and the bomb. And what that's going to do is from where you kill the bomb, or where you put the coins into the boss, essentially it's going to spawn a load of unCCable ads. Okay, so I don't think this one is great unless you've got really, really heavy AoE classes, but essentially you can't air source them, you can't slow them, you can't do anything. You just have to kill them, and if you've got a line, get to the other side of the room and focus them. So you can see they're immune to my air source there. Yeah, so this is the kind of thing that happens, okay? Also, another important thing to note is that fraud detected cast isn't just when you put in, like you miss the cast, it's also when you put in the same combination. So whoever is raid leading you or deciding which one to do needs to make sure that when you pick one, it is not the same one that you're doing, you know, for a second time. Otherwise he will get enraged and he'll kill you. Okay, so here's a cheat sheet about everything that spawns. Essentially, by looking at this, you can see what it is that you'd want to do. I'm not sure you're able to dictate what you'd do every time. I think that the ads that jump down might have different things above their heads, so you're never going to be able to just have a set rotation of what you want to do. I would say shock and flame, flame and coin and shock are, you know, easy to handle, and then coin and bomb is also okay. I don't like shock and bomb and I don't like flame and bomb. But obviously it's up to you and how you want to do it. You can read on there exactly what each thing does. And essentially, it depends on your DPS about how many combinations you're going to have to do. You might have to do 2, 3, 4. And obviously, as the season goes on, you'll have to do less and less. But at the start, you should plan for more. So pick which ones you want to do and have a priority order on the ones you want to do. And then depending on the ones, depending on what jumps down, you're obviously going to need to tell your raid which ones you're going. You're going mid and right, or you're going mid and left, or whatever. You normally just start on the middle one and then pick the other one because that's where the boss stands, so you get most of the damage straight onto that. But yeah, I would take a screen grab of this and have a plan about what you want to do and how you want to do it, but the ones that I said are the ones that we're going to be focusing on. Okay guys, so in phase 2, what's going to happen is the boss is going to have a set amount of abilities that he's going to spawn, and essentially it's just a burn before he casts the enrage, which will blow you all up. So the first thing he's going to do is get a lightning coil spawned. It doesn't really have the picture for it, so I'll just do this as it. So what's going to happen is he's going to spawn a lightning coil, okay, and wherever he spawns that in the room, okay, there's going to be then a link between the lightning coil and the boss. That will be a permanent line of lightning. Okay, if you walk through this, you take damage. All right, so the idea is you don't want to walk through it. There won't just be one, they'll spawn multiple of these. Okay, so essentially you probably want to get the boss over here because you'll be putting down the slams still. This will obviously just extend wherever it goes. If I can actually move, yeah, there you go. And that's just going to be how it is. Okay, and so as you move around the room, these will be attached to the back of the boss permanently from the coil. If you go through them, you take damage. So they can spawn in random places. So if you have one in the middle of the room, you're a bit unlucky, but it can happen. So essentially, move the boss around the room, stand still in the free spaces, try not to move the boss too quickly so you just wipe out your entire raid with the white lines. I understand that you might have the big hit, but the person that gets the big hit should probably stand here, and then the other person take off and keep moving around. Obviously, if you're standing here and then you need to leg it to here, this is going to cause issues. All right, so move here with the big hit, and then the other tank taunt off, move around nice and slowly, so you're not complicating where these lines, they will fill up the room. The next mechanic is going to be basically this, but fire. But this time what it's going to do is it's going to target a person in the room, and they're going to get given a fire debuff, and then between, I think it's 5 seconds or something like that, essentially a big fire line is going to come out from the boss onto that person. So the best way to deal with this mechanic is to just stand still, let people know you've got it, and move either side, and just as little movement as possible. All right. Essentially, if you start trying to move around with this ability, it's just going to cause more damage. So I think the best way you do it is you've got the clear blue lines, and then you essentially have the fire where you just, that person announces it's on them, and you move away from them, and they stay still, and the fire comes out onto them. Okay, it does quite a lot of damage as well. The third mechanic will just be AoE damage that is permanent until the end of the fight. So it's just coins that he's tracking out to you. It's like 1.2 million damage or something like that permanently until he's dead. And then obviously the fourth mechanic is a wipe. You still have the big hit going on. You still have the coins going on. So, you know, quite annoying dealing with all of that together with the limited amount of space. So if you want to save hero for this phase, you know, why not? Get rid of it, get it done as quick as possible. But yeah, essentially it's minimal movement, but movement when needed, and beating the in-range. Okay, and if you do that, this boss should be dead. So just going over the last things that you need is a confident person telling you you're killing mid and left, and it's going to be this mechanic. Okay, if you have that, this fight will be a lot easier. People will know what to expect, and it should be absolutely fine. And then when you get into the last phase, probably save hero the first time you get there, just because why not? Unless you want to deal with less mechanics in P1, then maybe hero at the start. Yeah, but other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you back in the next one. Getting really close now to the raid release, so excited. I'll see you soon. If you could leave a like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And as always, a big thanks to those that help. I very much appreciate it as well. Thanks. Bye.